Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy King Scourge here, and I am back after a long hiatus of doing this. But we're gonna be back with tonight. We're gonna be doing a Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, which again I haven't. So excited! I haven't done this in a long time. I know I've been on a hiatus and stuff, and I have a bunch of videos, but that's a whole separate video. So we're doing Melodious today. I'll try to keep it nice and concise. If you have any questions, if you guys like the deck profiles, please, or any of my content really, please feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll try to answer your questions or any questions you may have, you know, when I upload the videos or when I get the chance, you know, because I'm a busy person. And so anyway, without further ado, let's start with the main deck. So it's pretty standard. We start by playing 3 couplet. I know I know it says couplet, and sorry if you guys can't see the card angle really well. The glare, I'm just kind of winging this right now. It's been a while since I've done this, so I'll try to do a close-up as much as I can. But anyway, we play 3 couplet, the Melodious Melodious Songstress. So this is one of the fairly newer Pendulum monsters that came out in, I believe, 2 sets ago in Phantom Nightmare, I think. But this card is actually very insane. Besides being a Melodious Pendulum, which helps Melodious a lot, her effects. So her pendulum effect is she locks you into only being able to pendulum summon light monsters. Coincidentally, I don't know why you would do this, but coincidentally, if you're playing Blue Eyes, you could pendulum summon a Blue Eyes because she's a pendulum scale of 9. But anyway, so, and also, if you control monsters other than a face-up Melodious, or if you do not control monsters other than Melodious monsters, you can add a Melodious spell or trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Melodious or couplet the Melodious Songstress once per turn. Her monster effect is if she's drawn, or if she's added to your hand, or drawn by a card effect, except by drawing it, you can reveal her and special summon a Melodious monster from either your hand or deck. So basically, if she's added to the hand, so she's very good. But you play 3 of her because she's gonna synergize with other Melodiouses, and she's very good. You can get away playing 2 of her, but I would recommend it is a 3 of. She's very good. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, and that's fine. 3 of the other Melodious monsters that we play 3 of, we play 3 Refrain. Now, Refrain is a Stratos, so on normal or special summon, she can add 1 Melodious monster from her deck, from your deck to your hand. Also, her pendulum effect is you can target 1 Melodious fusion monster you control, and she basically dumps a Melodious monster from your deck, your main deck, to your graveyard, and boosts that fusion monster's attack points by the level of the sent monster by 200 times the level. So basically, she foolishes. Her pendulum effect will never come up, and couplet and refrain also have 2 other effects where if a Melodious fusion monster is special summoned to your side of the field, while you while they're in their extra deck, they place themselves in the pendulum zones. So couplet and refrain both have that same effect. You need to play 3 of her. She's super important. She's literally a 1-card starter, and she's imperm bait too. Like, a lot of people are going to imperm her. So next I play 3 Sonata. I see a lot of lists playing 2, or in some lists even playing 1. I like 3 of because even she helps you extend a little bit. It's a not once per turn, but if you control a Melodious monster, including a copy of herself, she can special summon herself from the hand. And while she's special summoned, she makes all your fairy type monsters gain 500 attack and defense, and this effect does stack. So if you have triple Sonata on the field, all your Melodious are fairy, so it's like your girls can get very big. Like they can take out a Blue Eyes quite easily. I mean, you can have 4,500 attack and defense. It's crazy. I can see people playing 2 of her, but I like 3 of her because even if you normal summon Refrain, and you kind of want to see Sonata in hand, because if you normal summon Refrain, you can special Sonata, link it off, and do things. It's not a once per turn special summon. Next, I only play 2 Soprano. She is your other busted card. That is, she has 2 effects. If she's special summoned, you could target a Melodious monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. That is a hard once per turn. But then she has a soft once per turn that she is on-field fusion polymerization. So she lets you fusion summon using monsters you control as fusion material, including herself. That is a soft once per turn. So it's meaning once per turn per copy. So literally, if you bring her back, if you link her off, bring her back, use her effects to fusion. So you're going to be abusing her a lot. You don't need 3. I've seen some lists play 3, but 2 is work just perfect. I think you just need to play 2, because I prefer not seeing her too much, but she's very good. And I see a lot of people cutting this card, but I also play the one Eulogy. Now, Eulogy, if she's special summoned, all fairy monsters you control gain 300 attack points, and she protects all Melodious monsters you control from being destroyed. Special summon Melodious monsters from being destroyed by card effects. So it may automatically shuts off, or she automatically stops anything like Dark Hole, Raigeki. I see people cutting her completely, but I like her as a one-up because she's, with the new support, she's fairly easy to get out. You don't have to, I know she's level 5, but she's part of the lock. And then we play the one Aria. I've also seen people, you really only need 1 Aria. Sometimes I've debated playing a second one, depending on what deck I'm going against. But she's the other half of the Melodious lock. While she's special summoned, Melodious monsters on the field, Melodious monsters you control cannot be targeted by card effects, which is important. That has come up, or be destroyed by battle. So, unfortunately, because of the ruling, it makes sense. She doesn't. A lot of people think, oh, well, your opponent just can't target Melodious with card effects you control. That is not the case. She prevents all forms of targeting, including your own cards. So, just as a little thing, she prevents all targeting. I don't want people getting a game loss or something because, you know. So, just keep that in mind. You only need 1 of her, because with her and Eulogy, you get the lock going. You kind of have your opponent in kind of a lock, where they're completely immune, cannot be destroyed by battle, cannot be destroyed by card effects, cannot be targeted by card effects. It makes it kind of hard for your opponent to deal with. And next, I play the one Shalpina, the Melodious Maestra. She recurs your light monsters. You could target 1 light monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand once per turn. It's a soft once per turn, but you can't activate other monsters' effects except for light monsters. But that's very important. You only need the 1 of. I don't play Mozarta. Most people don't play Mozarta either, because you don't really need to, because she's the only main deck Maestro you really need. Next, I do play the one Tam Tam. She searches Poly on special summon while you control another Melodious monster. If she's special summoned, she searches Poly from either your graveyard or your deck. Also, that effect is not a once per turn. Also, if she's used for fusion summon, you can target 1 Melodious fusion monster you control, make it lose 500 attack, and burn your opponent for 500 damage. So there has been times where she's a burn card. She's a time card, so it doesn't feel good doing that. It really doesn't, but I've done it a few times. Her Her effect can't be used if you have Aria on the field because she targets. So just keep that in mind as well. And next, I play, finally, for the last of Melodious monsters, I play the one cannon. Basically, cannon is like Sonata, except it's the once per turn. You can special summon her if you control a Melodious monster. You could target one Melodious monster you control and herself and change its battle position once per turn, but that effect is irrelevant. It never comes up. You just use it for, again, being able to spam the field. And she's level 4. So, that's it for the Melodious monsters, or Melodious main deck monsters. Let's talk about the hand traps. Right now, I'm playing pretty standard 3 Ash, or 3 Ash Lolly. I'm sorry, Ash Blossom. Best hand trap in the game right now, arguably one of the best. Stops your opponent from touching the deck. Next, since Melodious are all fairy, we could take advantage of this card, but 3 Herald of Orange Light stops monster effects. You have to discard another fairy, but it stops monster effects. So literally, it can stop Ash Blossom, or it's kind of like a Called by the Grave, but better. It's not once per turn. Lastly, for the monsters, I play 3 Effect Veiler. I've been debating on Effect Veiler. I know it's super good, but I think going in the Fiends, we won't be getting a ban list for at least another month. And with Infinite Forbidden coming out last week, I definitely think, from what it sounds like, I think we are going into a monster heavy format, so I think Veiler is fine. I also play 3 Imperm, which I'll show you at the end, but I do play 3 Imperm. But if you play the deck right, or if you know how to pilot Melodious, I definitely think, I personally not a fan of running 12 to 15 hand traps, but I run 12 hand traps theoretically, and it's been working out just fine. Next, for the spells, we play 3 Ostinato. This is Brand Diffusion. Better Brand Diffusion. The reason why I say that is because this is not once per turn, meaning if you get ashed, oh well, activate another one. But no, seriously, this card is literally full combo. If it resolves, it's pretty much full combo. But you basically allows you to fusion summon a monster from your using from your hand, field, or one monster from your deck. You use 2 monsters, so you can use from either your hand, field, or deck. And then you can fusion summon, and at the end phase, if that fusion monster is still on the field, it's destroyed, and then you can special summon all the materials back. That effect really doesn't come up too much, but if you activate this card, you can pretty much, if you really wanted to, you can just establish the lock right away, send Aria and Eulogy, and then Eulogy will summon Eulogy will summon sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm talking like an idiot. Ostinato will summon the 2, and then, you have full battle protection, but that's a last ditch resort. There are better combos if you want to keep going, but it is an option. Next, 3 of the only pricier card, and I apologize about that, it sucks, but I've had this deck for years. 3 First Movement Solo. This is also a 1-card starter. Not as powerful as Ostinato, but if you control no monsters, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Melodious monster from either hand or deck. Usually going to be from deck. Also, unlike Ostinato, this one actually locks you into Melodious monsters the turn you activate that effect. The turn you activate this card. So you just keep that in mind. You typically want to open up with Ostinato, but this is a good second 1-card starter. It's a 3 of. You have to play 3 of it, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's still like $15-$20. Next, 3 Pot of Prosperity. Um, it's for consistency. I have seen some lists playing Desires instead of Prosperity, and that's really up to personal preference. Um, it all depends on like how you pilot your deck or how comfortable you feel piloting your deck, an extra deck. Um, I personally like Prosperity. I mean, but yes, Prosperity is very good, but you can play Desires if you want. I mean, there's arguments to playing both, but I prefer Prosperity, personally. And keep in mind that any of these cards that I play, it's really up to personal preference. So you can feel free to use this as a deck guideline to kind of a basis. Next, for the Melodious spell that we can search, I was originally playing one Concerto, but I'm playing two. I decided to bump Concerto up to two. Here's my reasoning behind that. It's because, yes, this is basically the in-archetype polarization that Couplé can search. This lets you fuse and summon using a monster from your hand, field, or pendulum zones as fusion material. And then if a Melodious fusion monster you control is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle this card, put this card on the bottom of your deck, and draw a card. Both of those effects are hard once per turns, but sometimes the extra one does come up because you can use the bait Couplé, and then if you have one of these in hand, okay, you can still activate Couplé to try and bait a hand trap like a Ghost Ogre or something, and then you already have it in hand. So I'm gonna try two, and I'm gonna see how. But just to let you know, both of its effects, to fusion summon and to shuffle back and draw one, is once per turn. But this just kind of helps with recycling, and you have technical discard fodder. Not that you really need it, but it's there. There have been times where it's like, okay, well, I have the Couplé, I can search, but then it makes it a little bit less awkward to play around. Especially because then you got to send a fusion monster to the graveyard and do that and all that. And then we play the one poly for Tam Tam. And last, for the spells, we play the one Called by the Grave. Stops hand traps, stops Ash, stops cards. And like I mentioned earlier, the last hand trap we play is 3 Infinite Impermanence. Imperm is just the one of the most second best hand traps in the game. It's better effect veiler, and it shuts down columns and stuff. So that rounds my main deck off at 41, I believe. 41 or 42 cards, I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But so let's talk about the main deck, or extra deck. Sorry, you could tell I'm excited, so I apologize for that. Okay, so for extra deck, mandatory 3 of. Oops, the wrong card. Mandatory 3 of. Baka, the new Melodious fusion monster. Baka is nuts. She does everything. However, there's another ruling I should let you guys be aware of. So she requires 2 Melodious monsters. While you control this fusion summon card, the activated effects of Melodious fusion monsters you control cannot be negated. Seems really powerful, right? However, she can still be veilered, she can still be impermed, and her effects will still be negated, which really sucks. I mean, why did they word it like that is beyond me. Konami, why did you word it like that? If your opponent tries to... Also, if she's special summoned, you could special summon one Melodious monster from your deck, and if she's sent from the graveyard from the field to the graveyard, she can special summon a Melodious from your graveyard. If your opponent tries to Ash her effect will still go through. But so that's typically why I try to get out my game strategy, dual strategy, is to typically get out at Aria as fast as possible. So that way they can't target or do any shenanigans like Imperm or anything like that. But she's a must. She's a 3 of. You have to play 3 of her. Next, I bumped Roberta down the 2. She's the OG main extra deck Maestra. Um, so Roberta basically, just like Baka, requires 2 Melodious monsters. And she's a triple DD Crow. Once while she's face up on the field, you can, she can banish up to 3 cards in either player's graveyard, or target up 3 cards in either player's graveyard, banish them, and then she gains 200 attack for each. It is a soft once per turn, so again, if she were to leave the field and then come back, she can activate her effect again. So just keep that in mind. Next, we play the 1 Bloom Diva. I've seen some people cutting this. I don't play Bloom Prima. Occasionally, if you wanted to, I would consider playing Bloom Prima, but Bloom Diva, this is basically your Yubel of the deck. Requires 1 Melodious Maestra and 1 Melodious monster. Her effects is literally Yubel cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. You take no battle damage from attacks involving her. When she battles a special summon monster, you can inflict damage equal to your opponent. You can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference between the 2 original attack of this card and the battling monster. And if you do that, you can destroy the monster. Keep in mind, if she burns first, then destroys the monster. So if the monster can't be destroyed by card effects or unaffected, it doesn't matter. You can still attack and still burn. So that's another funny interaction there. And then lastly, this card is also insane. You play 2 of the new Flowering Etoile, the Melodious Magnificent. This cutie, basically, this ballerina of sorts, literally, she helps you play through Nib, which is really funny. So, she requires 3 Melodious to make. You need 1 Melodious Maestra, and then you need 2 Melodious monsters. So, while she's on the field, and this is crazy, basically, quick effect. You could banish this card until the end phase. Any number of Melodious monsters you control, including yourself, then you can return that many face-up cards your opponent controls to the hand. Keep in mind, she gets around Aria's protection because she does not target your monsters. She just banishes them. She banishes them, non-targeting. So you have so she bypasses Aria's protection of being unable to be targeted. And she can bounce that many cards to your opponent's hand. And that bounce effect is optional. You don't have to. You can just banish your whole field. If your opponent drops a Nib, you can just be like, okay, a 12, banish your whole field. Nib won't be able to summon itself. So she's very good. Also, if this fusion summon card leaves the field, because of an opponent's by battle or because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon either 1 Melodious monster from your deck or extra deck. So keep that in mind. She's very good. You need to play 2 of her. She's insane. She literally is insane. She flickers, she banishes Melodious monsters, bounces stuff back, and then they return to the end phase. It's like she's like a Time Thief Redoer or an SP Little Knight, non-targeting. She's insane. All right, so for the links, pretty standard. 1 Moon to get around floodgates like Skill Drain or anything like that. You play 1 Agents of Moon. You tribute a fairy to target a card on the field, destroy it. She helps play around certain floodgates. 1 SP Little Knight, again. It's very good. It's one of the best cards in the game. Target a card monster you control, and a monster. Target 2 monsters, including, it doesn't have to be including 1 you control. You can banish them both till the end phase. If you have Aria on the field, you could target herself and banish another card. If you don't have access to an SP Little Knight, fun fact, she did get announced for a reprint in September in the 2024 Megatins, but I know she's a very pricey card right now. She's still like $100. A good alternative is I've seen people play like Haggard Lizard Rose or IP. You know, there are other budget options. Next, we play one gravity controller because if you summon Baka in the extra monster zone, you can link. If the Baka gets impermed or veilered, or mournered or whatever, if the Baka gets stopped, you can link the Baka off into this, and Baka's effect will still, you could still play through it. I'm only playing one Bloom Harmonist. I was playing two, and again, this is up to personal preference. I'm gonna try playing one of her, because her effect is good, but the problem is, just like with first movement solo, it depends on who you're playing, but just like first movement solo, you discard a card, and you get to special two Melodious monsters from your deck to zones she points to. Well, if at any time she leaves the field, or she gets impermed or ashed or whatever, even if she does get impermed to ash, you're kind of down one card, you're kind of like -3. So, but you have to play at least one of her, because she's very good. She's very good. I would recommend playing two, but I'm trying out one, because I understand, you know, if she gets impermed or ash, it depends how often you go into her, but she does Xenolock you. Next, we play one Underworld Goddess to get rid of unaffected monsters, you know. This is a flex spot, but it does help get rid of monsters. Unaffected monsters, you just link it off. And lastly, one Baguska. Again, it's kind of a stall card. And then we play the one Typhon. I don't know how I feel about Typhon. Typhon's an interesting card, but it does shut off any monsters with more than 3,000 attack points. So it's very good. But keep in mind the turn you summon him using this alternate summoning condition, where if your opponent special summons the extra deck twice, 2 or more times the turn or the turn after, you can summon him. But you can't normally special summon monster the rest of the turn. So just keep that in mind. So that wraps up the deck profile. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I'm sorry if I sound like an idiot. It's been a long time since I've done this. I will try to get more deck profiles, because I have some deck profiles for you guys ready. Along with a whole bunch of other videos. I know I haven't uploaded in a while. But as always, if you like my content, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.